You're not gonna make it. No, you ain't gonna make it. You're not gonna make it, but you can. Welcome to You're Not Gonna Make It, the show where I discuss threats that may prevent you from making it. I'm Kevin.
Keep scrolling. What?
Was that good? That was the doing a thing on the Limp Bizkit song. Anyway, this is about doomscrolling. And you know what it is, but if you don't, I'm going to tell you. Doomscrolling is when you're on the internet, particularly social media, where there's a feed, and you just consume negative information, negative news, so that you get into a kind of doomed mindset. The world is fucked. I'm fucked. I'm reading all this bad thing. This is way worse than I ever thought. That this is especially bad during political times or when there are world events happening. People are just like, oh man, this is so bad. This is how this is affecting this. This is how this is affecting this. And this is going to affect me and blah, 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 blah. It's so bad. I'm going to find out just how bad it is in every possible way. I'm going to get all this information. Yummy. Here's the thing. When people say, here's the thing, I have this urge to say, and here's the Human Torch, and here's Mr. Fantastic. Back in the day, our ancestors, they could not get this much bad news this quickly. They would go through their entire life hearing about bad things from people around them, things that would actually affect them right away. But these days, we don't need that. We can be upset at something that's happening across the globe. We can immerse ourselves in every single problem ever for one particular city and just feel super bad about it. A city we don't even live in. We can find out, man, this city over there in this continent, I don't live in this region, I don't live in. The mayor's been doing this. There's been this type of crime happening around. The schools have been suffering this kind of problem. You can feel bad about all of that without even being there. But it's very easy to just consume all the information. Just consume it. And it gives people fucking anxiety because they're thinking the world's ending. Now, the way humans are going, we will probably fuck up the earth for ourselves at some point, but it's not going to be that quickly. And sure as hell it's not going to be because of something you read about happening in a different city you don't even live in. It is insane. People get themselves in this cycle where they hear about, oh, that sounds like a bad headline. Let me look into this. Oh my God, this problem's deeper than I thought. Oh, this person's involved. Let me find out what they've done. Oh my God, they're such a bad person. They did this person. Oh my God, these people are suffering because of that. This is a huge other problem. I didn't know about this. They've been suffering for this for the last few years. It's caused by this organization did it. Oh my God. It can just go on. And because of the internet, you're not really limited by the information you can find out. You can find out all of it. And because of people's habits of finding out this information via social media or via a platform that has a feed, they can just get fed all these negative things and it makes them feel worse and worse. It's like eating junk food when you're depressed and you feel worse because you feel bad because the junk food's garbage and you're getting fatter and you just feel worse, so you just eat more. It's like that, but with information, most of which won't affect you. And if you think of being insensitive, let me just bring something up. Let's wait 1, 2, 3 seconds. In those 3 seconds, at least 2 children died in some country in Asia. Are you going to spend the rest of your day crying about that? No. What are you, an asshole? No, you're not. They're just way, way too separated from your life for it to actually matter. And that's my point. Most of these things that people are dooming themselves on are not going to affect them. For example, 2016, apparently Trump becoming president was going to be the apocalypse. It was the worst thing ever, right? Those 4 years, nothing changed for me. I mean, I was broke anyway because I just became a personal trainer and I was having money issues, man. So I was broke working my way up anyway. So I didn't see the effects of Trump ruining the world or whatever. I didn't see any change whatsoever that came from politics. Not one. And when Biden got into office, same shit. I'm just living my life doing stuff. I'm not being affected by that. Not saying there aren't people who are being affected by this, but the average person is not getting affected by whatever the hell's happening with these politicians. Now, we're talking about the increase in prices in groceries lately. Yes, that's the thing. But in general, if you're finding out, oh my God, these people passed this fucking bill that affects this city over there, these people, like, listen, I'm not saying don't care at all, But if you don't have a friend or family member who's actually directly being affected, calm the fuck down. For example, all the wildfires in California recently, I know someone who has a family member in California. So naturally, they're like, oh, I kind of care. Let me find out how this person's doing. And they contacted them. They found out. Understandable. Beyond that, I don't know anyone there. So I didn't give a shit. And again, it might make me sound insensitive, but the thing is, those things don't affect my actual day-to-day life. Me taking it upon myself to do all this research, oh my God, this forest is burning down, these people are suffering, it was caused by this, now this is being affected by this, and blah, blah, blah. That doesn't affect me. So me taking that on as a mental burden is counterproductive. It is very bad for mental health. Just because you're seeing all these things happen on social media and stuff, it doesn't mean that it actually has any effect on your life. So to drown in other people's sorrow is just weird. It's not healthy. And this is especially bad for people who have a tendency to get obsessed with something. I want to research the hell out of everything. Those people who, like past me, go on Wikipedia and, oh, look at this topic. Oh, that's a word I don't know. Let me go to this word's topic. Oh, wow, a whole new world. I'm going to just go click everywhere. It's like that, doom scrolling. But everything is negative and everything's worse. And none of it affects you also, for the most part. And this extra affects young people who spend several hours per day on social media. So they're getting inundated with negativity hour after hour. You know what that does to a motherfucker? Reading "the world is ending, here's why" over and over every day. Probably going to become a more pessimistic person. Probably not going to care about your future too much because you feel like there might not be a future. You might even kill yourself. That's the worst case scenario. But it can happen. Again, with Trump getting elected again, you would think it's Satan came to earth. But I haven't noticed shit lately, especially because my parents came here legally. Now, I know some people, as with all politics, all presidents, all eras, some people are getting affected by certain things, but the average person's not. And I implore you, if you're not being affected by something, if you don't know anyone who's being affected by it, stop caring. It has no effect on your life. What you're doing is taking something that has literally no effect on your life and you're making it have a negative effect on your brain. I hope we understand why that's fucking bad. Because the amount of doom scrolling that results in more screeching from people saying, oh, the world's over, this is so fucking bad. This adds to the doom scrolling. Now, other people are reading, other people saying the world's ending for sure. This is terrible, horrible stuff happening. Everyone's just feeding into each other, into their own feeds so that they keep scrolling into hell. Doom scrolling would be cooler if it were about the game Doom. Here's some numbers for you. 55% of Americans report feeling stressed when consuming news, according to a 2020 thing. Sometimes I don't even care about stats during COVID or before COVID because it's a whole new world after that, honestly. But I'll take it. So half of people, Americans, they feel stressed consuming news. I totally understand that because what psychologically interests most people is something negative. So news headlines skew negative because they want to get attention, they want to get money. So they're going to put the negativity out there. May suck, but it makes sense. Now, this next number is not a big surprise. Social media use increased by 61% worldwide during the first wave of COVID in 2020. Yeah, no shit. People either have to stay at home, got fired, or whatever. They're going to be on the internet because that's how you connect to people. And that's what determines most entertainment these days. You got to be connected to the internet to do most things. So that makes sense. And that exacerbated the problem, especially during COVID, when you would think you step outside, you die immediately if you breathe the air, right? Now, some people did die, of course. But it wasn't insta-death if you stepped in someone's 6-foot social distancing zone. It's not like, oh, I'm going to step into your 5.5 feet and I die. I gave you COVID. You gave me COVID. We both exploded. It didn't work like that. But you would think so because of all the doom online. People just scrolling new COVID things, I'm just so tired thinking of that time. Just every day it was just COVID. This is getting like some places were being affected more than others, but everyone just took the worst things that were happening in COVID and just said, this is happening everywhere. That would have been a great time for everyone to calm the fuck down just a little bit. But a study found that people who engage in doom scrolling for more than 2.5 hours per day, Jesus Christ, I don't think you should be on social media at all for 2.5 hours per day, to be honest with you. You should put a timer on your social media, guys. People who spend 2.5 hours doom scrolling per day are 3 times more likely to experience anxiety and depression. Yeah. I don't even know what to say about that. No shit. I already covered that. That's a no-brainer. You are what you eat. And if your brain's eating a bunch of depressing shit, then that's what it'll be. 66% of social media users report experiencing FOMO, fear of missing out, which probably contributes a lot to this doom scrolling because they're thinking all these other people are all they're talking about is the recent negative events. I got to get in on that because I don't want to be left out. A lot of people feel that way about social media in general, even if it's not negative. They just don't want to miss out. Like, oh man, what are they talking about? What are the latest memes? As a side note, if you're not online all the time, some of these memes are just wild. I don't know what the fuck is happening. And I feel like unless you're online all the time, you won't have context for half the memes out there. Back in my day, slang and memes, you can get them from context. Maybe they weren't funny, but you would understand it. But anyway, not missing out on the trends is a big reason why people stay online and they keep scrolling negative stuff. Because like I said, with the news organizations, they know negativity is what people love psychologically. So this applies in terms of online news as well. So you're talking X, Threads, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. If there's something big happening, people with the most negative opinions on it are going to rise to the top and get spread the most. And since what's popular is almost always negative, people, if they don't want to miss out, they're going to have to indulge in that negativity. And it's a cycle that scrolls itself into hell. Now, here's the cool thing about the fear of missing out. You're not missing out on much. Here's something I did recently. On my TV, I'm able to edit the YouTube app so I don't see certain categories. And recently, I removed the news category. So I can't just go to the news section and look at what's happening because I found that, you know what? Most of it's pretty negative, especially during the 2024 election. It was just a lot. And I remember back in 2016 when Trump won the first time, I was thinking, wow, and you're not going to find out my politics, by the way, don't ask. I thought to myself, wow, I can't believe Trump actually won. That's interesting. I wonder if the news articles will continue with complaining about Trump. Surely there can't be a sustained 4-year complaint cycle about Trump, can there? Oh, but there was. Just constant complaining, constant defense on the other side and back and forth. So that was a bad time. And now he's president again. And I see what's coming with the constantly fucking annoying news. And I just removed that news section from the YouTube app and on the TV. And it's great. I can't just go, oh, I'll just see what's happening on the news. No, I have to look for a specific video if I want to. So I removed that influx of negative shit. And you know what? It feels good. It feels good to miss out. Because a lot of what you're missing out on is not really important. Like I said, back in the day, way back in the day, obviously getting some news is important, but a lot of things, if they don't affect you, you're just not going to find out about it until someone tells you or it's directly affecting you. Now, being completely out of the loop is not great, but putting some distance between you and the negative news is great because honestly, if it's really fucking important and relevant, you will find out one way or the other. So you don't need to be stalking the news and looking at the negative headlines and scrolling and all this stuff. So if you can set, let's say, time limits on your social media, news consumption even, that would be awesome. Every phone these days has something called either digital well-being, screen time, or if not, you can download an app that can do it for you. Put timers on these sources of doom scrolling immediately. I don't know what the average person spends in terms of time on doom scrolling, really, besides what the stat says, but I don't know. Just start off with 2 hours. It'd be cool if you could do like an hour or less, but start off at 2. See how that goes. And try to make the restriction of these news, doom scrolling stuff a part of your bedtime routine. So at nighttime, try not to look at news and stuff while you're getting ready for bed, and definitely not in bed. That's the number one rule. Don't fucking doom scroll in bed. I don't recommend scrolling at all in bed. The only reason I would recommend having your phone near or in your bed is if you use it as your alarm, although you should really buy like a fitness tracker for that. Or if you're expecting an important call at 4 a.m. for some reason, for your job or family things or something like that. Other than that, leave the fucking phone out of your bed. You're gonna really save your life if you do that. And one more tip I'll give you, I guess, to avoid doom scrolling is if you want to read about bad things that are happening in real life that won't affect you, but will make you worry and feel doomed, how about you shift that curiosity into the world of fiction? Maybe you can read about this fictional society who's going through some wild shit. That way you can quench your curiosity via reading while improving your vocabulary. Maybe you'll learn a lesson too. Maybe you'll learn some morals. Anyway, you should read more. You read more books instead of headlines. That's my thing. That's the main takeaway from what I'm telling you. Read fewer headlines. They're not going to affect you. Maybe read a book instead. That can affect you mentally, positively. And actually, one more thing. When you're at the gym or whatever, I don't advise really using your phone at the gym unless you're trying to record form, logging your workouts, or just some really important communication you got to do with work or some shit between sets or whatever. But do not, between your sets, say, oh, what's happening on the news over here? Stop. Just don't do that. Just don't. You're going to get sucked in, feel depressed, fuck up your next set. Just don't do it. Just don't. Why? Why do that? Don't do it. And remember, you can always readjust the algorithm in your favor. All the negative news articles for most services or platforms, you can click that, say not interested, mute, restrict, whatever the hell. And then things that are cool or fit towards your life or make you feel more positive, say see more of whatever the hell. Over time, you can adjust it so you only see cool things for you. Now, that may be a form of putting yourself in a bubble, not being aware, man. But who cares? It's a fucking feed. Make it show what you want. Unless you want to eat dog shit and negative shit all day. Anyway, write in the comments, what's the longest time you've spent doom scrolling? Has it actually been 6 hours? If so, what topic was it? 'Cause 6 hours is fucking insane. Anyway, avoid the headlines for the next 4 or 10 years. I'll see you next time.